Hello everybody, welcome to the grand finale of this Simufur LMP2 iRacing Championship. I am Paliku'i Grant, joined by Wolfin Foxdale and Suzuka Shark for what we hope will be a great finish to the season today. Of course, today's track, Hockenheimring, a nice, speedy course, but with a lot of complex technical sections, especially through turn 7 all the way to turn 16. It's going to challenge the drivers here today. We got a couple of nice straights coming into it, and then of course turn 1 is a fast sweeping right-hander, and it's gonna cause a lot of ruckus, but of course, as we know so far, Jordan Johnson, the dominant force behind the entire championship up until this point, winning last week's race, but challenged by a cash. Suzuka, we are up to the last race here, the final round, and it is shaping up to look like a big fight between Akash, Jordan Johnson, and possibly Dex. How have these drivers been all season?
Honestly, those three have been solid the whole season. They were consistently some of the front runners we've had, especially Akash with that excellent battle with Jordan Johnson last week in VIR.
Yes, of course. No, it was VIR. That was last week, Virginia International Raceway, and we had a battle between, I believe, fresh and old tires coming to the end, and Jordan just managing to hold Akash off. But will the story change today? Akash, the only other driver to actually take a win in this championship when Jordan wasn't here, so close to taking his second. I mean, Wolfin, what do you think it's going to take for Akash to actually cash in on that momentum?
Honestly, it's just going to take just one mistake, really, from Jordan. It's one small mistake, and I think Akash is going to capitalize it perfectly. And I'm honestly excited to see where this will go. It'll also depend on pitch strategy. We saw at VIR that the pitch strategy was very important. Jordan was very much struggling with tire degradation and usage because he did not stop for tires and was not really, I don't think he actually had to push that race as well, and it just turned into a battle of who could save their tires at the very end, and as we saw, Jordan was able to do that and win at VIR.
Yes, and I was actually speaking to Jordan earlier as we see Akash during practice putting up right now the fastest time with a 1:27.7. Impressive, given everyone's lap so far, but of course we know Jordan Johnson and Dex behind can put up better times. But as I was saying earlier, you know, one of the things that we really haven't seen come through is, you know, the pace of Dex. I mean, Dex has actually been on the tail of both of these drivers pretty much throughout the entire championship. It's just one thing or another, just unlucky for Dex. I believe last week in VRR, he had a spin that cost him a position at the last lap for third. And so, I mean, do you think he can take it today, at least a podium for himself?
I think he will.
Yes, I think I can see Dex on the podium. You know, Hockenheim, I think it's a much easier track than VIR, so it's a bit more forgiving, to say the least. So, yes, we will see people pushing it really hard and confidently around this circuit.
Of course, and given this circuit, Hockenheimring, rather flat, but still a lot of tricky corners as we see Akash come down the line. And again, another place with decent runoff. It's not as bad as Virginia International Raceway, so we may be in for a little bit more hard racing here today. What do you think?
I think there will be a lot of hard racing. I think it's going to be close, and I think that the times that we're seeing now are going to be nothing compared to what we see either at qualifying or on race day. These are just people just getting their tires warm, getting used to the track. I guarantee you some of these people have not driven this track in a long time, and it's going to be interesting. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yes, definitely. Of course, today, given the track, we're hoping tires would become a factor here, and it definitely was last week. An odd instance where we actually saw a battle between two different strategies play out. Akash trying for the undercut with taking new tires, and Jordan staying out there with old tires. Cash almost made it work. It'd be certainly interesting once we get into the race what they're going to be looking at today, but we're going to have to wait for a little bit as we still have qualifying up for the last one of the season, as I believe we saw Moonstar there in the background just taking it a little wide through turn 6. But I mean, as you can see coming through here, the technical section of the course are where the most time has to be gained here. You can see as Jordan Johnson comes around, I believe Mercedes in turn 10 into Mobile 1 curve here, there's just a lot of things that could possibly go wrong for the drivers, or at least slow them down. They're still going to have to be on their game if they have any hope of making something work, as we see Jordan going a little bit wide there.
Yeah, just a little wide, and he goes wide yet again, going out of the next corner. And as we now follow Dax coming around, and Dax was another good one that has been doing very well. I feel like he's had a lot of opportunities this championship to really give it to Jordan, and just luck was just not on his side.
And one of the things that we can point out, as you see Dex coming through turn 6 there, that parabolica curve is going to make for some interesting overtakes. More than likely, if you get the run, you're going to want to take the inside, but whoever's in front of you is already going to be there. So it's going to allow for some close racing coming into turn 6, which is a super hard braking zone. We'll probably see some locked tires today from that corner.
Yeah, I agree. I was even, before we even went live, we were watching the practice, and I did see people, a few cars like Blade and a few others, they would lock up in that area, and it's definitely going to be a matter on lap 1 to try not to lock up, because that's going to cause a massive problem for everybody else.
Yeah, very much so. Well, hopefully, we've had clean racing so far. As a matter of fact, if I check our records, we haven't had a single filed report for a racing incident for this entire season. So, I mean, I give a huge shout out to all the drivers out there.
Oh yeah, I think
Definitely.
I think the last time I've seen that when it comes to a race like this, what was it? Simufur GT4? I want to say, am I wrong in that, Suzuka?
I am not sure, honestly.
And how we're going to go ahead here, and we're going to take a ride on with Jordan Johnson as we lead you through a lap as he hits that very fast turn 1 on North Curve, coming into the first parabolica here. This is a tricky set of corners. You have to brake in hard, but you want to get the car nice and loose coming out as, Jordan goes a little wide coming out from turn 2 and 3. Now, of course, you have the long parabolica. This is what we were talking about earlier. As you can see, you're going to want to hug the inside here. And if someone is behind, they're going to have to take the long way around, which is going to lead to some stellar dives coming in here to turn 6. The hard braking turn here. We're going to look out for a lot of potential overtakes here. Be careful on the left side coming there, as you saw the sausage curve that Jordan went over as he goes through turn 7 here. Another fast sweeping turn, as then you got to brake hard into Mercedes corner. Turn 8 here, open it up a little bit, but not too wide coming into turn 9 and 10. And then you want to open it up here all the way, not hit the wall, coming through to Mobile 1 curb right here, turn 11. Then we have the tricky section, turn 12 here, but there's a little bit of camber, so you can take it a little bit quicker if you can get the grip coming into turns 13 and 14. Then combine corners 15 and 16 here, most treated as one corner, coming in, out, and in again as we end the lap there just in time, as qualifying will be starting soon. So we get just enough to see one lap, and there was the start-finish line right there. But as you can see, flat, but potential for overtake, and you really need to hit the exits on your turns, especially for those quick ones.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting passing opportunities. I expect to see a fair few battles going on in those sections. And I don't think we've ever raced in Hockenheimring in any of the series before. I could be wrong, but this is definitely it's definitely giving me vibes of Red Bull Ring.
Definitely.
Where we're going to see a lot of interesting fights going in from the start.
Yeah, and as we can see here at the bottom of your screen, all the drivers now coming out, doing their times. Jordan Johnson out first, followed by Blade Wolf, then Akash, then Zeem. And again, as a reminder, all of these sessions right now are open. This is an open qualifying session, so they're all going to be together. We're hoping to see a few more drivers come out, but we take a look at Jordan Johnson here as he gets ready for his first flying lap here of the qualifying session. And, you know, we've taken a look and we've seen qualifying, and aside from last week, we haven't really seen qualifying be too much of a factor. Granted, Jordan has been dominant, but even still, the position changes seem to be hard to come by.
Yeah, I agree. Like, usually where people have started is usually where people finish unless something happens. Like, for instance, like somebody spins or wrecks or something like that. And even then, we've not really seen that. I think the only time we've had anything really massive was Sebring and Red Bull Ring. And I think Okayama. I think we had a couple small incidents.
I think so. And, you know, another big thing here is that when we've had the qualifying sessions, a couple of them have been very exciting. Just to point out, last week, we had no idea who was going to start on the pole up until, like, the last couple of minutes. I believe it was a three-way fight between, of course, Jordan, Dex, and Akash going for the lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't there for last week's race, but it definitely looked like from when I watched over the stream, it was definitely pretty close.
You missed out on a good one. It was close all the way up till the end.
Yeah. Yeah, but I did get to have good ham, so I'm not going to complain.
That's fair. That's fair. It's got to have that ham. Ooh, Jordan goes a little wide there.
Wide.
Coming out of Mobile 1 curve. That might have been an off track. And as you know, if you get an off track during qualifying, gets squirrely again. Going out of turn 14. It's the south curve. So, wow. It's, little, maybe the cold tires getting to him a little bit. I'm sure he's going to go again for another time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was actually a little surprised that he was actually having so much problems. Ooh, I think he went a little wide there.
Yeah, he did. However, it looks like the lap did count. We're going to go switch back to Akash here as Akash comes through turn 12 here. And, you know, this track, of course, it looks really flat. But I have to say, driving it, it's very deceptive. You can lose it if you go in just a little bit too hard, even though the camber is with you on turn 12. And the complicated part is you really don't know that you've lost it until your rear end's already kicked out and it's too late.
Yeah, that would be very scary as we see Dex knocking off Jordan for the pole.
As we take a look at our timings right now, yes, Dex with a 128.333, beating Jordan's 128.667. However, we did see Jordan get a little squirrely at the end, so of course, there's improvements to be made.
Oh yeah, 100%. So we'll just have to see where he sits after this next lap, as we see Cash coming out of the hairpin. And I honestly also am going to be keeping an eye on a Cash if nothing goes wrong and everything goes his way. I would expect Cash to take the his first pole, or second pole, I apologize, in this race.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was Red Bull Ring, which Akash did manage the pole and the win there. But you know, another driver here I'd just like to point out that's been throughout the season is Lunar, which goes a little wide there. Whoa!
Oh no!
Coming through and letting Dex through, but you know, Lunar has been one of the more quiet drivers here, not getting in too much action, except when we had, I believe, Chloe. They had good fights there, but Lunar has been rather consistent, coming all the way through.
There goes Akash with the pole.
There goes Akash at the pole, beating Dex's time by 3/10, as Dex also improves his time, but not enough to catch up with Akash. And we have another fight. But as I was going back to it, you know, Lunar has been rather consistent in the championship and always placing themselves in good positions if from the beginning, I remember it was around the top 10, and then Lunar, I believe, last week, just out of the top 5, I believe by a couple spots. But, you know, just being in there and continuing to race and keep their own pace, it shows a lot of how you can actually succeed in this league. It's not necessarily always getting up there to the top.
Absolutely, I can tell. Just being around can come with good results. So it's either you win. It's either you win a few times and not enter the rest. But like, oh my goodness!
Ooh, Lunar gets on the accelerator a little bit too much there. Almost loses it. Good catch though to keep themselves on track there, not into the wall. Whew, wow, what a way to avert potential disaster. Thankfully, it's just qualifying.
Yeah, thank God it's only qualifying.
Oh, and Lunar goes. Oh, goodness.
No. But as I was saying, being consistent is better than winning a few races and crashing out in a lot of them. So it's more motivating, it's more rewarding.
It definitely doesn't destroy your heart as much, to be fair.
No, it doesn't. And
Just
here,
existing.
of course, between all of us, I mean, we drive a lot in Sim 2. I myself do a lot of iRacing, which is a lot of fun. And, you know, with a league like this, the great thing is you get to know the drivers, you get to know how they race. Everyone's, you know, there's this camaraderie there that makes the sim racing experience that much more enjoyable, even with the competition. And so, you know, you can see it on display at the track, how tough they race, and yet they keep it clean. Case in point was last week with Between Akash and Jordan. I mean, that was amazing racing. I don't mean to mention it too many times, but it was absolutely incredible. And the biggest point is that they kept it clean as Jordan improves his time, but not enough. 127.973 against Akash's 127.8. So finding more time, but not enough yet, as we're reaching close to the halfway point of qualifying.
Yeah, and I was waiting for it, honestly. I was like, there's no way that Jordan is going to sit there in third for very long. I knew eventually he was going to get a better time. He was probably just dealing with cold tires or something up with his tires. And here we go, P2, and only off by less than a 10.
And we're going to go ahead and take a look and follow along as Jordan comes out of turn 6 here. We can see he's got a personal best out of Sector 1. We can see if that time will improve any more as Dex also gets a personal best behind. We were just following him coming through here. We're going through Mercedes, turn 8, 9, and 10 as he gets nice clipping off of there onto the curbs. Nicely done onto the sausage curb there, keeping the car under control. Holding it in there, close to going out, as Dex, meanwhile, does set the fastest Sector 2 right behind him. Jordan, meanwhile, coming through here, coming out of turns 13, 14, and 15. This may not be looking too good. Oh, he gets really squirrely with it. His back end almost losing it, and he goes close off track. I don't think that's going to be enough for the time there. However, Dex behind sets up 127.858, not close enough. No, Dex does not improve his time, so Dex is going to have to find some more there to try and see if he can push even further.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's this one definitely looks like it's going to be really close between these three. They're only off by like maybe a 10th, and even then, you know, it's very close racing. So I anticipate that these times are going to be showing what the race is going to be like. And more interestingly enough, this might also lead to Jordan's pole spree ending on the very last race, unless he can actually beat Akash's time in the last minute.
That's actually correct. Jordan Johnson, for every single race he has started this season, has had the pole every time Jordan has started. So we're looking to see if this could finally be the day that Jordan gets dethroned off of pole position. Now, I also like to point out, While we've always been following the ones in the front here, like Akash, Jordan, and Dex, let's not forget there have been battles in the back as well, as we've seen, you know, Blade Wolf right now trying to improve their qualifying time. But as you can see, very close to Moonstar. Moonstar with a 129.973 against Blade Wolf's 129.988.
Oh, no.
As gets a little bit too much on the throttle there. The rears kick out, and Blade's going to have to restart. But as we were saying before, I mean, the difference right here is 5 thousandths of a second between 5th and 6th place. And
That's
close.
nothing.
That is barely nothing. That is like maybe a few inches from these cars.
Yeah,
Buffer
exactly.
to
It's
buffer.
like- yeah, they're basically the exact same. So that's gonna that's gonna equate to times in the actual race. So I'm very excited to see where this goes.
I am too, and one of the things we like to see is it doesn't matter where you are. You could be up the top 3, you could be in the top 10, you could be, you know, close to like, you know, 20th, 19th, 18th place. There's a battle to be had somewhere. And at the end of the day, especially for myself and what I love, I just love battling with another car. As I remember hearing, this is going to sound really funny, but after, you know, a Reddit post I remember reading, it's not necessarily, you know, the winning or taking first that's the most memorable one, but it's that massive 5-6 lap battle for 7th will be the one that you always remember.
I absolutely agree to you, and I'll hark back to our GT3 championship last year and my battle with Denak at Indianapolis. That was a really fun battle because I knew that overall Denak, that race was a lot better than me, but he had a rough break. It totally was not my fault. I did not accidentally run into him on lap 2. I did not accidentally do that because lap 1 chaos. Anyway, I had an amazing battle with him at the very end and was able to finally get by him on an absolutely insane send into turn 1. And that I still will always say is probably one of my proudest moments because that, like, for one, I don't even know how I got it to work. And for two, it was just such a fun little battle that we had that it was just so much fun.
As we sit
honestly,
here,
yeah, the battles do matter. So I have had the same experience here in Indianapolis. You know, I got punted in the first lap. I was down in the back, but making up those positions, it's what boosted me. It definitely made me much happier in the end of the day because I got to show what I was worth. Moving from the back to like 29th to which was like I'd say around 10 positions, at least 10 positions. So yeah, the racing is worth it. It's not always about getting top prize.
Indeed, and as we take a look here, one of the drivers that hasn't really gotten going wide there much the spotlight lately is Taichi, as we can see here coming down into turn 2 and to the first parabolica. And one of the things we'd like to point out is that, you know, we have a small group here that has continued to race with us with the LMP2s, and I really appreciate all the other drivers that come out and just spend their time with us just to enjoy a little bit of racing. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's one of the things we all love. Myself, Wolfin, Suzuka, everyone out there on track right now, as we see Dex gets a 127.912 to beat Jordan, and Jordan right now in 3rd.
What is going on? like what is this? Yeah, Dex, smart move. I'm calling it quits. Have a nice day.
We're down to the last 5 minutes here, so Jordan's gonna have to pick up the pace if Jordan wants to keep that pole streak alive. Oh, you can see how he's turned the tires. Whoa, he goes really wide. Whoa, he hits the brakes and manages to miss the wall, but he's gonna have to restart there. Ooh, pushing it even harder. Ooh, Jordan may be finding a little difficulty out there today.
I think so. I'm actually incredibly surprised. He's normally had insane pace and ability in these tracks because he's used to them, but I don't know why. Hockenheim is just his
kryptonite, I guess. It's just, I guess, a track that he's just not fully agreeing with.
Maybe not, but of course, there's still time left. Still 4 minutes of qualifying. Oh, Cash goes really wide. You could see each and every one of these drivers right now. They are pushing it to the absolute max, trying to one-up each other coming into the end of qualifying. And just a note, pole position is worth 1 point here. So, who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, heck, I'm sure Cash would love to take that point.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, if he takes pole, then that's I would call that a personal victory.
I would myself too. Yes, especially at this championship with Jordan Johnson sharing the same track as you. Of course.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, we keep bringing him up, and it's mainly just due to the fact that this is a guy that is a professional. This is not, you know, and this is not to downcredit anybody, but this is a guy that does this for an actual living. Like, he works for, he does instructions to make professionals get faster. He's working with another crew to help teach people to drive as fast as you possibly can. This is his job. So if you're able to one-up a person like Jordan Johnson in any form, that is a win, really.
I would say so. Even, you know, and I've spoken to Jordan before about this. You know, for him here, it's to unwind, to relax, you know, have a good time and have some fun. But, I mean, even so, there's no slouching. So,
No.
to still, even with, you know, the relaxed Jordan we see out there on track, it's still very impressive to see the skill of these drivers and what they have. And, you know, we go back to what I was saying before, you know, for all the drivers that come out here, as I was mentioning before, we actually saw Dex take second place over Jordan. It's just very nice to see everyone here. And, you know, for myself, we see Cash pull over, going to go for one more hot lap here. To see the drivers come out, to see, like, you know, Blade Wolf, Taichi, Seam, Danny, all the other ones we've seen throughout the season, spending their time with us, you know, it's very enjoyable. And for me, personally, I really appreciate it. I know it takes time and effort to, you know, come out here. You know, there's practices, there's setup work, and all of those factors together, you know, you do it to maximize your enjoyment. And even us here in the broadcasting booth, myself, Wolfin,
hello,
Suzuka.
Dex.
Oh,
Oh
no,
my
Dex
goodness.
takes pole with a 127.7. I think I should keep talking about how we enjoy sim racing, because I think Dex is just going to keep getting faster.
Just RKO out of nowhere.
As we were following Jordan, Jordan could not, that lap was not fast enough. That lap was slower, I believe. Oh no, that lap was his best so far, but it was only enough still for third place. But, okay, I'm going to try this for a third time. The enjoyment, you know, we all receive here, you know, I can point to you guys, Wolfin and Suzuka, just sitting here broadcasting and watching these drivers. It's that real sense of community, I believe, that brings us all together. And I really feel that it helps all the more with all of our enjoyment.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is what we're here for. We're not here. I mean, some of us, you know, we are here for Simufur. We're here to have fun. This isn't for money or fame or glory or anything like that. We're just here to have fun. We're just dumb talking animal people getting in cars and trying to go as fast as we possibly can. And that's really all it is. That's really all that matters.
Definitely. And as we took a look a little bit before with Taichi. Taichi managed to actually put up a time right now and actually get it there. Meanwhile, Blade Wolf actually gets ahead of Moonstar, going super wide and again parking it. And I think that was the end of qualifying for Blade Wolf, as we have reached the 20-minute mark. So we'll see if the Cash can improve their time coming to the finish. It's not looking good right now. Slow sector 1 for him, but the fastest sector 2.
Sector 2.
Oh
It's gonna
boy, here
come
we
down
go.
to this here as he clips
On the
right.
limit.
right on the gravel here, coming out of mobile curve into turn 12. Now the tricky sector here. Does he have enough to improve his time? Can Akash take pole here? And I think even after that, can Jordan take pole? We can take a look at the timing now. No. I don't think so. Akash not able to improve their time. Jordan coming down here.
Will the streak end? Is this the end of Jordan's pole streak?
We're about to find out. Here he comes down the line, through the last turn, over the start finish line. Is it enough? He improves, but it is not enough to get up there. Jordan Johnson finally dethroned from pole out of anybody else but Dex. Wow. Amazing.
That last second lap, and that is all it takes. One good lap, and you could just say yourself, you sit yourself in pole, and that is exactly what happened after 3 attempts of a conversation. We keep getting these surprise instances, and I am very glad about those because it makes things very interesting.
Of course.
So, it's definitely going to be a lot. This last race is not going to disappoint. That's for sure.
No, and Suzuka, go ahead, read us our starting lineup here for the final race for the Simufur iRacing LMP2 Championship.
So in front in pole is our surprise pole sitter, Dex, out of nowhere, pulling off that lap. Your P2 sitter is Akash, and in third, surprisingly, Jordan Johnson, who's been dethroned as like the pole sitter on sessions that they are in. What a surprise. And then in P4, sitting next to Jordan in the second row is Lunar. Our next row is occupied by Blade Wolf and Moonstar. P7 and 8 go to Taichi and Zim respectively. And then there's Danny, who I don't think they've set a quality lap, so interesting to see where they climb.
They did not, however, they are on track, so they will be starting. This is going to be a short... Oh, Dex goes a bit wide there, but this is going to be a short pace lap as we see them heading through turns 14 and 15. Again, on the top of your screen, those lights are going to flash. However, Dex, in a surprise pole position, can start this race. He will have control of the start here as we come down the final corner. Here we go, bunching up the field a little bit, and he hits it. We are green here. Dex goes off. Akash in second, but looks like Plasma is going to tuck him behind. Jordan's going to tuck him behind. Dex comes out. Oh, he goes wide.
Oh, a bit wide.
But he holds there for now. Akash making the move. Oh, looking on the inside here, coming into turn 2. But no, thinks better of it. Dex comes through here, going through the first parabolica. And now here we come. Turn 5 here. The long parabolica. Will anybody here make the move? Coming through. We shall see. There is Dex in front, followed by Cash there, and Jordan, he's looking, filling up the mirrors there, coming into turn 6, but no, holds it, but Dex goes wide. Cash is going by there. They're going to come side by side. Oh, but he slows a little bit. Now it's Jordan Johnson and Akash side by side, coming into turn 7. That's going to allow Dex to come out a little bit through, but Plasma is going to hold up there. And Jordan is through for second place. Wow, incredible start for Jordan. Meanwhile, Dex still holding the lead there, coming out of turn, I believe that's 10, coming into 11, Mobile 1 curve here, and now everyone gets settled down here, and everyone's going to start battling themselves.
Yeah, here we go. Right, we're coming on the near turn 15 and 16, and oh man, we can see Dex starting to pull away now, but I don't know if that's going to last for very long.
I'm not sure. It looks like they're coming through for their first laps here today. Wow, but so far so good for Dex. Way to start out. That's what you want to do. Just hold the front, and Akash being on the losing end of that, having to give a position to Jordan coming through turn 6.
Yeah, and I honestly foresee him doing what
Cash did and trying to send it into Parabolica as we head into Parabolica.
Well, we're going to go ahead and ride at the cash here. We're going to see here the battle right in front of you. That's Dex in front of Plasma, Jordan Johnson as they come in through turn 6.
Is he going to send it?
Ooh, Plasma fills the mirrors, but not quite. However, it allows Dex goes wide and they're side by side now. This is for the lead. It seems Dex and Jordan are side by side coming into turn 7. If Dex can hold out here without letting Jordan go too far past, he's going to have the inside coming into turn 8 in Mercedes, and he does. He defends it, but not for very long. They're still side by side coming into turn 10. Oh, they're coming out of turn 10 now. They're a mobile 1 curve, but Jordan has the advantage here. Dex is going to have to brake late to not allow Jordan through. Will he hold the track? He does barely, but he falls back just a little bit, and that allows a Cash to now fight Dex here. Wow, what a start to this race. Meanwhile, don't count out Lunar, because Lunar is caught up to the leaders here.
Yeah, now he's looking... Yeah, 4-way battle for the lead as we come down to the final corner. Jordan finally getting through and is now now in the lead as we come into turn 1. Now we get to see if Jordan will pull away or if he's going to slow it down. Ooh, he gets a little bit loose coming into turn 1.
Jordan in his natural habitat. But meanwhile, we're going to go back here. We also have the 3-way battle for 6th place right now as Blade Wolf, Taichi, and Danny are all together.
Yeah, Taichi in the middle of all this. It's going to be interesting. They're coming into Parabolica now. Is there going to be a move? It looks like Taichi might be setting himself up for a move on the inside, maybe.
We're going to come back to that a little bit. There are 2 active battles going on right now. One for 1st place with Jordan, Dex, Akash, and Lunar, and one for 6th place between Blade Wolf, Taichi, and Danny. Amazing stuff from these drivers, and even with the small field, it never disappoints.
It's coming back around the outside. Oh, that's so close there.
Oh, hits the sausage curb hard, but manages to hold it somehow, and Dex will continue to fight. That's going to leave it open for a Cash, though, if the Cash can get on the inside.
Yeah, here we go down in the final 2 curves of this lap. Maybe they're coming into
that Sachs curve, turn 12 there, yes.
Sorry.
Oh, amazing stuff. Out of the 9 cars here, 7 are battling for position.
Yeah. Ooh, Cash goes a little wide coming out of the last curve. Is that going to affect him? I don't think so.
And I think Blade Wolf has locked up and spun a little bit, now dropping them back to 9th place.
Corner.
But I think there was no contact. We'll take a look at that later. Coming down, of course, Parabolica here. There's Jordan Johnson, Dex, and Akash. The same group of people coming through here now.
Yep. Coming through Parabolica. Will there be a move? Probably not. I think we're probably just going to see things starting to settle now. Unless somebody wants to be brave.
I think something happened to Danny as well. We'll take a look back later, but Danny lost a position to Zim. So, a lot of action going on here. We're only on lap 4.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Come back here, Jordan. And Jordan, of course, in his natural habitat, now up in front.
Yeah. It took a little bit, though. And a little bit of squeezing as well. So, we'll have to see where this goes.
Yeah, we will. But as they do that, we'll take a look at what happened to Blade Wolf. We'll see.
Oh, Jordan goes wide.
Oh, Jordan goes wide, but I think Jordan made it work.
Yeah, he did.
Still going a little wide there, too. Oh, he's getting real wide. They're all getting real wide. Oh, Jordan might actually be having trouble on that turn. It looks like he was... We saw him struggling earlier, getting real squirrely with the back end of the car, and that may come into play here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that did. And this is also going to come into play with his tires. His tires might also be feeling it right now.
This is so familiar. We recognize this back from last week, Virginia International Raceway. It was these 3 drivers all so close, all trying to make each other make a mistake. We see Dex. He's getting real close here. Will he make the move? Will he go on the inside? He goes on the inside into turn 6, and he's going to make the dive. Is he going to hold the inside? He holds the inside for now, and they're still side by side. Oh, but he does not get a good exit, and that allows a Cash right now to take side by side here, coming into turn 7.
Here they come down
Right.
into turn 7.
The Cash backs out, so that's going to be some thing we're going to watch out for. As I pointed out earlier, that Parabolica, that's going to be a place where now we can finally see the draft come into a little bit of an effect here. As we saw last week in Virginia International Raceway, no matter what you did, as long as you came out of the corner a little quicker, you had no chance of passing the driver. Here, that is not the case at all.
No, not at all. I think the only thing that stopped Dex from getting in on Plasma, he had a little bit of snap oversteer, and it lost him just enough time for him to not be able to finish the move.
Yeah, some just amazing stuff so far. Just seeing these drivers duke it out again and again and again. I mean, wow.
Yeah, this is definitely close. People are definitely getting used to how everybody races, and it's now gotten very, very close and very interesting.
We're going to go ahead. We're going to see here if Dex can make any move on Plasma. As you can see, I mean, look at the battle right now. They are within 0.5 of each other. Half a second. Look how close they get into that turn. They're just one big train that wants to keep on chugging.
Yeah.
And then not to pull
as
out.
well.
Ooh, coming through
Oh.
there a little bit loose, but not to pull out any of the stops. We see going through here, Jordan now is starting to get the exits right. I think Jordan right now, as I
Did you
say
see
that, he
that?
goes
Wide.
super wide. Whoa!
He actually hit the gravel there a little bit.
He did. I think almost all four wheels hit the gravel there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's not healthy for tires.
Oh no, that is not at all.
Nonetheless.
Ooh, Cash goes a little
Oh.
wide there too.
Yeah, they're going
These
wide. But
guys are on the
we're going to go ahead and take just a quick moment. We're going to see what happened to Blade Wolf down in lap 3, what we saw earlier, and then Danny's little incident. So let's go ahead and take a look at Blade Wolf's incident first coming through. This is on lap 3, coming at the end of the lap. This was that battle for 6th place as we saw earlier, and I think Blade just hit the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thankfully, everyone managed to avoid Blade. And then we'll take a look
Wow.
at Danny's incident after. That's one lap afterwards. Danny was, I believe, behind Taichi. We'll see what happened. Did Danny just not break in too much? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing would happen to Blade. Well, thankfully, missed Zim, and they managed to continue racing. But yeah, that was the action that we missed at laps 3 and 4. But
Oh.
meanwhile, we see all of them right now. Jordan, Dex, and Cash coming through, just making it life difficult for each other. And I want to say the big winner right now in this, and we're going to ride on board with him, is Lunar. Lunar just sticks by them, and as they fight, Lunar can just hold themselves in there and just wait for an opportunity to strike. I'm really looking forward to seeing what can happen there.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting to see what Lunar's gonna do here. I think if this battle keeps up and they keep fighting each other, Lunar's gonna find himself in a very advantageous position. He's gonna go for maybe a dive or something, maybe to get a position or two off them.
We'll see, especially because we know Lunar, while they're not as quick as the leaders there, in a race that doesn't necessarily matter. In a race, what you want to do is you want to just keep in the fight, so if anything happens, you can capitalize, and that's exactly what Lunar is doing right now. Hopefully, Lunar can hold, as Lunar just goes a little bit out of the slipstream, but looking at how hard they're battling, that may come into play later. As meanwhile, we're going to take a look. Danny back there, side by side with Z, making the pass, coming around the first Parabolica. Oh, wow, what a move. And after
Very bold.
spinning later, Danny now on a recovery drive. Going to see if they can catch up to Taichi up ahead.
Yeah, and I believe Blade is doing the exact same thing. They are right behind them. They're probably going to stick to... they lock out a little bit.
Locks
Yeah,
up
yeah.
a little bit. And of course, Blade's going to try and make the move later on. Now, back to the leaders here, as we can see. Whoa, they're all sorts of out of sorts coming through that turn. You can tell they're pushing each other here. I think I think it's safe to say Jordan cannot rest on any laurels now. Jordan has to push. Oh no!
Oh, no! Dex!
Dex! Oh, just manages to hold it. Goes down a few positions, but Dex is not out. Whoa, that was super close. But thank goodness Dex manages to hold it, so Dex will live to fight another day. Wow, what excitement here right now.
Yeah, I think that is the proof that Dex was really pushing this car. Because all it took for him was just get a little bit loose going out of that last corner, and that was it.
We're going to go ahead and take a look at that again, see what happened with Dex. Dex, I think, was just a little hard on the brakes there. I mean, look, you can see how hard he's pushing Plasma right now, coming in here just wide, just a little bit, hits the curb, and unsettles the car just a little bit. What a nice way to snap that steering wheel back, though, and catch the slide to continue racing.
Yeah, that was very close. It's a good thing that he was able to save it, because now he's back in the fight, but now he's got to fight two more people on tires that may or may not be not so healthy anymore.
Right, that might come into play. Oh, we see Lunar back there go really wide onto the sausage curb, but look at
on the inside, no. As we see
here, Jordan comes through. I apologize for that. Right at the spicy part, we did have some audio issues and everything cut off. Give me just a moment. We'll get everything back on. However, you're rejoined with us in the commentary booth. I'm Paliku'i Grant, Wolfin Foxdale, and Suzuka Shark, all commentating here as we watch the battle for first place.
Yep, we do apologize for that, but, technical issues happen. And as we see, Jordan's now starting to gain a little bit of a gap, but I don't know how long that's gonna last.
And give us just a moment. You will see something pop up on the screen. We're going to get the audio back up for you as soon as we can.
Here we come to the Parabolica. Back at the Parabolica.
Coming into right now, I believe, turn 6. They're coming in hard. But yeah, as you can see, they're thinking better of it. They're lining up their moves, and this is what it's going to come down to here now.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's been very close, and this is almost shades of VIR, where Cash just couldn't find a way to get around Jordan. As we come to the next score, as I say that, here we go.
Oh, Cash coming in. Coming to the mobile one. He got it right now, but is he going to hold it? So far, so good. Yes. And a Cash taking the lead here. Another lead change here on lap 11. We are only 16 minutes in. There is still 44 minutes left to go in this race, but they are pulling out all the stops here.
Yeah. Finally.
Oh, and Lunar now in the striking distance from
Plasma of all people.
Jordan, yes, and managing to hold it. I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Lunar just holding in there, just making sure he can make the battle, but Dex right now, right behind, trying to see if it's gonna work.
Oh, he gets a little squirrely.
Gets a
Is
little
that gonna
squirrely.
Dex at all? No, I don't think so.
I think it might. Dex, this again here, this is where you can hard brake. So Dex just has to get close. You can see that slipstream working. Oh, and Dex gonna think better of it? Yes, Dex is gonna think better of it. Wow. So we're gonna go back. We're actually gonna see the great pass for the lead here. Let's go ahead and take a look back and that amazing move that Akash made on Jordan Johnson. So we can see here on board Akash. Oh, and Jordan just gets a horrible exit coming out of there. And that's what allows Akash to get by. And again, that's what we were saying. All it takes is one mistake. Meanwhile, while this is going on, there's a battle between Zim and Blade Wolf going on.
Yeah, it's definitely close as they come into the next corner.
Yeah, we can actually take a look. There was actually a couple of switchbacks from the two drivers. Let's take a look and actually see how Blade Wolf got by Zim. So Blade Wolf coming in turn one. Zim gets a bad exit there. Blade Wolf, I think, is going to try the inside. Oh, yes, a brave move. Coming into the first Parabolica there. Wow, manages to get through it. Oh, but Zim doesn't let it go all the way. And
No,
Blade Wolf has to come, I think, the long way around to make it work. But Blade, you can see, still side by side coming into turn 6. We'll see Blade finish the move off here, I believe. Blade Wolf gets a better breaking point here. And yeah, just manages to get through. Ooh, a little bit of a lock, but manages to hold it.
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely.
Top to bottom, just everything right now is pretty incredible. Fighting everywhere you look.
Yeah, fighting everywhere. It's everywhere. This last race is not going to let us down, that's for sure.
That's definitely for sure. We couldn't have asked for more coming into finale, except maybe the technical difficulties, but thankfully we got that done.
Yep, and as we come...
Let's come around here. You see, we can see Lunar and Dex. I mean, right now, Lunar is holding up Dex, but you couldn't ask for more right now. Being out of the top 3, you were always in striking distance, and now you're holding it. But the question is, how long can you do that for?
Yeah, it's a matter of how long can you keep this push, and how long can you hold it? And that's just going to be the very big question here.
That's going to be the big question here, as we see, again, you know, Dex right now, I think, doesn't want to try anything overly dramatic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think right now, Dex knows that his tires maybe a little bit on the downside, but I think if Dex will probably try the undercut given what happened, that little spin there, well, the little catch drift there on turn 16 on the south curve.
Yeah, just a little, that tire may come into play when it comes to his times, which is probably why he's not been pushing too hard. I also foresee when pit stops become available, or when he goes in for pits, he may get new tires just to maybe solve that issue, maybe be able to push past.
Meanwhile, if we take a look, I mean, one of the, again, hidden gems here, we have Moonstar right now in the top 5, the back of the top 5. Moonstar is just out there driving their own race, and I mean, who could blame them? Getting the start, getting up a place, getting top 5, I mean, I'd be happy too.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget, they are basically on an island at this point. They don't have to worry about anything. There's nobody that's going to pass them. The fighting is...
And there's a
hello.
Taishi, and it seems like Taishi lost a position to Danny. It looked like Taishi was very loose there coming out. We're going to take a look, see what happened as Danny made the move on Taishi. Let's see what happened to them. right, so they're coming around. This looks like turns 15 and 16. Does he just get... Oh, he's just really slow coming out of the exit.
Oh,
So,
poor exit.
yeah, poor exit.
Yeah.
But Danny makes the most of it on the recovery drive and up 3 places from not qualifying. You can't ask for anything better.
I honestly think that that corner's just been making everybody suffer. We've seen a lot of incidents coming out of that last corner.
It's a really tricky corner. Knowing the camber of the turns, you're coming downhill into 15. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and we'll go on board with Danny here as we come out of, I believe that's turn 10. And so if you actually take a close look through turn 11, everything is flat after you hit the apex there, but you can see turn 12 undulate inside, so you have that camber a little bit. But right here, you have a dip that comes right out of 14 here, and then into 15. And not only are you taking that turn with speed, but you're also braking. So that can cause all sorts of problems. We can see, it goes a little wide there. But yes, that's what you have to look out for. Meanwhile, Dex looks like he's got a good exit on Lunar. Is Dex going to make the move? He does. Is he going to be enough to late break?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Maybe
Making
not.
the move work.
Lunar
But
with the switchback, but
Lunar with the switchback. Nope, they are side by side. But Lunar backs off, thinks better of it, and is just going to let Dex take the position here, and then let Dex do the work as you work your way back up to the leaders.
Yeah, I think what Lunar here is doing is he's saving his tires. He's keeping everything good. He doesn't have to. He knows that Dex has already spun once. He doesn't really have to fight it too hard. He can just wait for either pit stops or at the very end to really start giving it a push. And that's what I think he will start to, move up.
I think that's also what he'll start to do anyway. I mean, Lunar putting up such a good fight so far as we see a Cash with the fastest lap of the race. And this is something we do not see often. Jordan Johnson is a second down on the leader.
Yeah, that's actually... I was just looking at that and I was very surprised. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I mean, the field is finally, after 24 minutes, settling down after just non-stop battles everywhere.
I mean, that's just a display of pure pace. Let's take a look at these lap times right now, as we can see.
Jordan.
Ooh, Jordan, a little squirrely. And, that is something we've been seeing. Jordan's just had so much trouble with this track.
It is, but maybe he's just never really driven it before.
I mean,
or just the car is not really agreeing with it here.
You can take a look at the splits here. I mean, other than 3 laps between laps 13, 14, and 15, the times are so minuscule, the gains, and yet you look at lap 12 and 16, and Jordan going wide again, but Jordan losing half a second on 2 laps. Like, this is something we don't really see.
I mean, we don't, but it's definitely making things interesting as we come down the last corner to complete yet another lap. Jordan goes, yet again he's going wide.
I think that's one of the things that's just affecting him. And look, Jordan loses another 0.3 on that lap. Cash just has the pace, the consistent pace, and it's an impressive display of driving under someone that's a seasoned veteran, no less.
Akash had the VIR to prove themselves that they can race Jordan, but here in Hockenheim, they're proving themselves to be gapping Jordan by quite the amount of time, like 1.3 to 2 seconds. That's
quite the
far.
margin. Look at that, another chunk of time that Jordan lost there. As I'm going to try and see if I can pull up the sectors here. So we're going to take a look at the individual sectors. Sector 2 is what you're going to look for once it pops in here, but Jordan losing so much time on what it appears to be turn 6. And look at that. Akash is 2 seconds faster right now. Akash is 2 seconds ahead. Yes. And look at that. Almost 3/4 of a second. Jordan lost in 1 sector.
That's insane. That's
this must be a track that Akash must have just sat here and just practiced for days trying to get it right. I think VIR really lit a fire into them, saying, I can do this. I can actually win a race against a professional and do incredibly well, and they're proving it now. 2-second gap.
And Akash also setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Just look at the sectors right now. What Jordan gained at that last sector was less than 1/10 of a second versus the 7/10 Jordan lost coming into the lap. So you can just see that Akash has the pace. Now, the question being here is Jordan losing enough pace to worry about Dex coming up from behind? As we can see here, Dex has gained a few tenths off of the last lap in lap 18, but otherwise, Jordan has been pulling away. So this could very well be a settled down 1, 2, 3 until the pits come out.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're going to want to keep an eye on. It's going to be who's going to go for the faster pits. Because remember, I almost want to bet that Dex might go for tires, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Ooh, as Jordan gets a little bit, he gets a little squirrely coming out of the corner. And
I think that's the story of why Jordan has not had the pace that I believe he desired. You can just see that Jordan is struggling to hold that car straight and is struggling to maintain and find the pace to keep up.
Oh, on the curb.
As we can see, Dex catching up another 10th this lap, so it's gonna be something we're gonna have to take a look and keep an eye out for as this race goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to come down to, once we hit that 30-minute mark, I am going to be very much watching like a hawk to see who goes in and when, because I think pit strategies are going to be the difference maker on this race, because these people are so close, and unfortunately with Jordan's squirreliness, is the best way to put it, I feel like if he can get ahead of Akash and just be able to hold him off long enough to win, he'll be able to win this. But if Akash keeps staying in front, I foresee that gap getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, but we're going to just have to see as this race goes on. I think Jordan at this point has realized he doesn't have the exact pace from Akash. However, that means Jordan will have to try the undercut later. We'll see if that works. Meanwhile, taking a look back, and Jordan's pulling in the pits now. As I was saying, Jordan is going to try the undercut. Now, halfway through the race, let's see if Jordan will take tires here. We'll take a look as he comes into the pit lane. He's going to stop in his pit box. And he does. He is taking tires. So he is trying what Akash tried last race at Virginia. Jordan did not take tires in that race, and Akash managed to catch up. I think Jordan does want to take the undercut and try and see if he can undercut Akash and get ahead of him early. But the one thing that's going to stop him is the traffic ahead, as Danny, Moonstar, and Lunar have all come in front. If they pit in, then that's not going to be an issue, but we'll have to see. Now, another thing I was pointing out before Jordan pit was taking a look at Moonstar right now, as Moonstar right now sitting in 4th, but generally in 5th place after the pit stops are all said and done, was starting to show a little bit of slowness up against Danny behind. Of course, Danny right now is 4 seconds back. When we take a look at the lap times here, though, Danny has been catching up. It's about half a second to a second a lap. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see once they catch up how the fight's going to look like. And you know Danny is really pushing hard after that unfortunate spin in the beginning.
Yeah, I definitely... Danny's really pushing. You can see in the background.
On the limit.
Meanwhile, Dex has just set the fastest lap of the race, the 1:28.964, so maybe those tires aren't that big of a factor after all.
Yeah, maybe not.
Here's what I think. I think Dex was conserving those tires all those time, and then when Jordan pits, they are trying to, I'd say, overcut and try and beat Jordan off the line on their pit stop.
That is
I think
definitely
Dex is strategically fighting Jordan Johnston.
Definitely something. I mean, with the new tires, it's going to be cold. You're not going to be able to push as hard, but you still need to push hard. We see the pit starting to come. We see Taichi here coming into the pit lane. So the strategies are now starting to take effect as we have passed the halfway point here. 32 minutes here in the iRacing season finale here at the Simufur LMP2 Championship.
Yep, and he's also going for tires.
He also is going for tires. So you have to wonder if, knowing that Akash took tires and caught up so quickly to Jordan at the last race in Virginia International Raceway, will Akash also risk it and take tires as well? Because now...
Honestly, I see that as the prime strategy, considering Hockenheim's nature as a track where overtakes are quite easy, considering how wide and how many overtaking opportunities there are here.
Right.
So I think tires are prime.
And that's something you certainly want to take a look out for, but it's all going to come down to how they execute their pit stops. Meanwhile, I can't give enough credit to Luna right now, just racing their race and gonna be, top 3 right now, most likely gonna be top 4 after all the pit stops are done and dusted, but you can't argue with a result like that, especially against these high-level drivers that are all in front of you.
100%. I absolutely agree, and I think, and this is just the big thing, consistency is key. If you can stay consistent and if you just keep to your own race, it really can pay off in the end. It's because if people push too hard, they end up crashing or going wide. That's just a position for you. So if they keep this pace, who knows what'll happen? They may actually stay in the top 4.
We're going to check back right now for Jordan Johnson here, where I'm actually looking at the times at the moment and going just through his times. As you can see, less from Blade Wolf, but his last lap was a 1:29.574, and then you look at the top of your screen, Akash just set the fastest lap of the race of a 1:28.827. So that is almost 7/10 quicker than what Jordan is doing right now on the strategy. You wonder if it's gonna pay off. Granted, he's only on the second lap out of his stint so far with the new tires, but you have to be quick if you want the undercut to work, or hope that your opponent's going to make a big mistake.
Yeah, and I think it's a mix of both. I think he's either waiting for Akash to either make a mistake or have a really bad pit, or he's just going to try to push and push and push to try to make up for the lost time that he had.
And if you could take a look at your bottom right-hand corner of your bottom left, corner of your screen, you can see the last lap time for Jordan Johnson, a 1:29.312, and of course up against what Akash just set. Again, looking at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, a 1:28.827. So the pace Akash is displaying is absolute top-notch right now.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. He's really pushing this car, but he's now run into a little bit of a problem, and that being lap traffic in the form of Taichi as they come down to the last corner.
And Taichi right now just coming out of the pits, and so is Blade Wolf. No, that is Taichi up front. Blade Wolf is right now, I believe, just coming out of pit lane, coming through, and of course this is no surprise. Look back at Jordan Johnson now on the back of Danny, as Danny is trying to make a charge for Moonstar. But this is what I believe Jordan was afraid of, getting caught up with other traffic here. Now, Danny is not a lap down.
Oh, here he goes.
But Danny hits the pit, so wow, thankfully, lucky for Jordan, Jordan doesn't have to worry about that. Good break for him. Yeah, and I think Moonstar is also in the pit, so this is actually a position battle in the pit lane right now.
Yep, position battle in the pit lane. He's going for tires. Danny is not. He's going
Danny
for only
is
fuel.
not
He's going for
tires.
overtaking in the pits. That will be interesting. But
Interesting.
Moonstar with the tire strategy, can they come back in the final minutes?
Well, as we do know, Moonstar was losing pace on Danny quite a bit, and so, oh, they come out at the close
Just
to the
in time.
same time. Oh,
Hello.
and Moonstar heads out just a little bit earlier than Danny. However, Moonstar did have like a 4-second gap to Moonstar that has now been diminished to about half a second. Pretty much nothing. And so, I mean, Danny, we're going to go ahead and ride along with Danny right now. We're going to go ahead and take a look. And so, you can see, coming through here, let's take a look and see what Moonstar does, because Moonstar has the cold tires. Ooh, going wide, a little wide. Ooh, but manages to hold it. Danny not able to capitalize right now. Oh, it's exciting. Who'd have thought we'd have a battle for 6 here?
Yeah, and it came down to pitch strategy of all things. And and now it becomes the question of what's going to come out on top: the tires, the fresh tires, or the fuel.
And I mean, of course, we're gonna want to see a battle here. Oh, Danny gets real close to Moonstar there. Wow, almost coming into the back of Moonstar, but I mean, you can see how well Danny's taking the corners, and of course, Moonstar on fresher tires, but it's still cold, just managing to hang on. Wow, what a braking zone there. Whew, that could have been a lot worse.
That could have ended horribly had that been like a few feet more. So, as we see, yet another purple lap from Akash, 128.810.
And against Jordan Johnson's last lap, which is a 129.15. Jordan is also in danger from losing the position to Dex because Dex is matching Jordan's times.
Oh, yeah, and he's actually got another problem. Lunar is not too far off from him either. Though he is slower than Jordan, he's not slower by too much. I'd say about maybe a tenth or two.
Very much so. But Lunar did actually go off track earlier. We will get to that. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look now. On the last lap, Lunar actually had a little bit of a moment. We'll see what happened to him come this replay.
Here we go.
So he was coming through. Okay, that's the first Parabolica. Did he just go too wide? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh,
too deep.
That was
Whoa.
very interesting. That's a very interesting place to go off track there. Wow. That is quite a moment for Lunar. Maybe wasn't paying attention.
I don't know. It was weird. Maybe he had a wheel issue, I want to say. Maybe a wheel issue.
Possibly. We'll take a look at that again. But meanwhile, Danny gets a big run off of Moonstar here. Closing the gap now. Oh, taking it a little easy, but as you know, Danny with the pace, Danny definitely wants to come through. Akash is in the pits now. We're going to go ahead, and so is Dex. They're both in the pits. Oh, goodness me. We have a pit battle here, and we just turned off. We will get back to Danny in a moment. We want to see if Akash takes tires here. He does. Akash is taking tires. What about Dex? Is Dex taking tires? He is as well. They are all taking tires here.
And there's Lunar.
Now, the question is, can Jordan Johnson get through? He is right now at turns 15 and 16. He is coming along through, but Akash is already at the pit exit here. He's getting let go. Here he comes. Akash, of course, easily, not even close. Jordan is still far back, but Dex, meanwhile, lost the position.
Oh no, but he's not too far off. He's
about... No, he was 4 seconds off. Now he's only 1.5 seconds off. But the gap can get larger because they are on new tires. So now we've went from almost the entire season for the head leaders not taking any tires to all of them taking tires.
Yeah, I think it came down to if Plasma's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it just to save myself. Because I feel like, again, we're going to go back to VIR. Jordan was really struggling when he had those used tires, and you could see it. He was having a lot of trouble holding off a Cash, and I think he learned from that and decided to say, I'll just get the new tires, save myself the trouble. And he's got such a large gap. He's got a 5-second gap to get his tires reheated and ready. So honestly, I don't blame Akash for this. If anything, I think it helped him because I think he gained time off this.
Very much so. But even with, like, to note, even with the old tires, Akash was setting like 3/4 of a second faster than Jordan. Just on pure pace alone with Jordan and new tires, Akash was still faster.
Yeah,
now, we're going to go ahead and take a look. We actually missed the pass on Moonstar with Danny, but we're just going to go ahead and look back at that just to see, because we cut to the pit lane right when they passed. Again, this is earlier, coming into turn 2. And so Danny, I think Danny just gets an amazing run off of the first Parabolica. And you can see, yeah,
moves on the exit.
Yeah, Moonstar goes a little wide, almost loses it, but thankfully Moonstar can hold the place. And now Danny up 4 positions from the start, not setting a qualifying lap, mind you, and he's doing a great job now in the top 5.
Yeah, and that's all that matters, really. He's making a hard charge trying to make up for any lost time, and it's been playing out very well for him.
Yes, but of course, as we were talking about, the unfortunate loser in this situation right now is Dex. Dex, of course, starting in P1, but right now just not able to catch back up. You know Dex wants the win. Dex working hard for the win, but sometimes it just doesn't work your way. As we see the lights come on here, it's getting dark here at the Hockenheimring as we reach minute 44 here in the last 16 minutes of this race. And Akash setting another fastest lap with a 128.7. Incredible. I mean, Suzuka, the racing we've seen so far, just absolutely top-notch in the strategy battle here. I mean, it's fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, very interesting. That's what I love about strategies. It's you don't know which one pays off until the very end. That is the thing about racing. It's all about mind games. It's all about thinking what to do and making the most out of it.
Of course, I mean, right now, the surprise right now is that Akash just with the pure pace advantage, something that we haven't seen except for one race, but that wasn't just pure pace, that was tires. But now everyone is on new tires here, and Akash still showing he has the pace.
Absolutely. It's not over until Akash crosses the line, but Akash holding on quite nicely so far. Let's just hope they can keep that pace up until the checkered flag.
And I want to take a look. Let's take a look at the speed that Akash is displaying. Look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That's the speed. He's taking this turn at almost 220 kilometers per hour. That's impressive.
And not only that, he's hitting the sausage curb on the inside.
I mean, look how he glides through the first Parabolica here. He makes it look like the car is doing exactly what he wants. He's dancing with it. He's dancing with the car, and it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, and this is what racing is all about. It's perfect working with the car and the driver as they come into the turn 6. Nice and easy, no problems there, and away he goes.
I mean, you can just see, and of course this being the most technical section here, we will get to a battle shortly. Jordan is actually getting caught by Dex, but just coming and closing here with Akash. Look at how he's showing where he can put this car. I mean, you can see the steering wheel twitching, but for him, it feels like it's nothing. He nicks the wall just a little bit for good measure.
Just a little. Yeah, I'm sure it's not a big deal. It'll be fine.
I mean, look how he comes out of the turn. He uses all of the camber that he possibly can. Of course, this is the trickiest turn of all, but it looks like he's mastered it. Look how he nicks the sausage curb and comes out all the way using all the track and the runoff he can. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see. And I think the brave thing that he's doing is he's hitting the sausage curb, which, at least from my ACC experience, is a lottery. You could do well by hitting the sausage curb, or you can die because of the sausage curb.
Oh, and meanwhile, we have a little battle here as I think that's Zim in front, lap traffic, causing a little bit of a backup as Jordan now has to get around him, and Dex right behind. This is the battle for second place. And of course, Jordan, you know, was up in front earlier in the race, now threatened by Dex for third.
Yeah. Oh, he goes
Sipo
really
super
wide.
wide. With the rejoin.
Oh my goodness!
Super
Close
close.
call.
I don't think there was contact, thank goodness, but Dex had to back out of that one very hard, and now all of the momentum that Dex had has been lost a little bit. Whoa, that could have ended in disaster, but thank goodness. Wow,
Yeah,
everyone
that almost
survived.
Yeah, that almost could have ended horribly. I was watching, I was like, oh no, is he gonna hit? And thank God he didn't. That was very scary.
Yeah, thank goodness. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and take a look back at that really quickly. Give me just a moment. We're gonna go ahead and see what happened there. Of course, we're with Zim here, but we're gonna go ahead and go over to Dex and take a look at his onboard here as coming through the turn. He goes wide. Oh, Plasma locks up a little bit, and Dex manages to avoid Zim. Wow, that was a complex situation that could have ended a lot worse. I'm surprised they didn't make contact.
Yeah, I am too, because if Dex had locked up, that would have absolutely gone right in the Plasma, and that would have been a race over for both of them.
No, Lunar, I believe, spun out coming out of turn one. Thankfully, though, not that big of an effect for Lunar, as Lunar right now is just racing their own race. But wow, thankfully it was just a little spin. Looks like they've gotten back, and we'll take a look again. But it looks like out of turn one, Lunar might have come in too hot and just applied a little bit too much braking.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Here he comes.
Oh, he hit the sausage curb.
Yeah, the sausage curb.
Oh, nice recovery. Wow. Whew.
A little burnout for good measure.
Yeah, a little burnout for good measure there.
Yeah, it almost looked like he went really, really deep, and then the sausage curb just unsettled the car way too much, and that was it.
You could see Lunar. It's also a little bit unsettled coming out of turns. I believe that is 9 and 10. Whew.
Yeah, I'm sure that those tires are not happy with him, because I do not believe he went for tires. I don't really remember.
Let me take a look. No, I think Lunar, yes, went tires. Meanwhile, wow, Dex manages to dive into turn two. We're going to take a look back at that, but Jordan's going to want to respond, but he can't do much. Let's go immediately take a look back, see that brave dive coming into, I believe that was turn two. Let's take a look.
So, here we go.
This is out of turn one. Oh, he goes really wide. I think that was just a slowdown for Plasma. Yes, it was, and Plasma has no choice but to give up the position. Wow.
Oh, no. The course.
You've got the course. You have to give up time for time gained.
That's what iRacing does, especially there. I mean, you cut too wide on that corner, and it's going to give you, I believe, it's either a half a second or 7/10 of a second slowdown. And of course, here that's enough for Dex to get across. And I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. And just to note, all of these drivers, they're all on the same tires, all of them new. So there is no tire advantage anymore to be had here. All the pit stops are done anymore as we come into the final 9 minutes here of this season.
Yep, and what a season it's been. It's had its ups, it's had its downs. It's been absolutely amazing as we see Jordan right on the tail of Dex coming into turn one. He's going to try to definitely remake that position he lost, but he's just been having so much trouble. He's been so loose.
Yes, and almost all the complex corners where you need that grip, Jordan just never had it. And look at that. You
Ooh!
see how wide
my
he goes.
goodness.
Oh, meanwhile, Blade Wolf, I think, had an incident. We'll come back to that in a bit, but thankfully it looks, as what I'm seeing here, Blade Wolf is okay. But yes, no, going back to Jordan, just you can see how difficult
Oh, he
he's
locked
had
up.
it. He locked the rears, and I just think out of all of the season, there was going to be a race that there was going to be a struggle, and it just looks like this was that race.
Yeah, I mean, this is I'm not an expert on iRacing, but I don't think Hockenheim is on the calendar too much when it comes to any, like, major races. So, if it's a track you're not familiar with or you don't race a lot on, I can foresee that being part of the problem, and especially in a car that you don't drive too often. I feel like it was just the perfect storm for Jordan.
And as we know, I mean, Jordan didn't have the qualifying time. You can see he's cutting in all sorts of places, just trying to keep the car straight. But it looks like Jordan now is just going to calm down and settle in. You would hope that, you know, you'd be able to make one last push at the very last race. It's still possible. There is still time. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what happened to Blade Wolf here. This was a couple of laps ago. Of course, Blade Wolf, as we saw, manages to continue. I wonder if there was just a brake lockup into turn 6. This might be it.
So.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
a major
there it
brake
is.
lockup. But, I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully, initial D'd it. Didn't look like much time was lost there. Just keep going.
Nope. Nope. He just slid it into turn 6. No problem there.
I mean, but you have to give credit, as I say, where credit is due. Akash has driven the absolute best could possibly drive so far, and just pushing it to all the limits that you can while still keeping it on track and keeping it nice and quick. And just the display of racecraft that Akash had at the beginning of the race too, absolutely incredible. And so now we're coming down to the last 6 minutes here of our season, and I mean, things can still happen, but right now it's looking very good with Akash. A strong 8-second gap over second place to Dex.
Yeah, and it's just been one of those races. And you know what? It's been an amazing race. Like, we had so much action in the beginning, and I think the pit strategies and the time all it came into fact, and it just everything has gone right for Akash, and it's been very well for him.
You know, I think the big moment for Akash was when he managed to pass Dex after the mistake coming out in, I believe, the beginning of the race. We're going to go ahead and highlight that real quick. We're going to go back to when Akash managed to get second on that one lap and see just the brilliance of the racing there from him. So we can take a look here. I mean, this is back lap 8 when we saw the four-way battle for first. And of course, you know, Dex making the mistake there, as we saw, spitting in, and Akash from there on was just on the march to get to Jordan. And then, of course, later on, a few laps later, we have, of course, the pass for the lead here as we come up again with Akash. This is on lap 11. And Jordan with just a poor exit coming out of turn 10. And this is exactly what you have to do. You have to take advantage of the opportunities and seize them when you have it. And that is exactly what Akash did today.
Absolutely. And it has been just an amazing race for Akash, and good on him. He's been pushing so hard, and he's gotten so close so many times. It is great that he is where he is right now. In the lead. He's going to get his second win here in this championship, and I'm glad for him.
I am too. It's great to see that, you know, we have a variety of drivers that can compete at this such high level and involve such nice, clean racing too. And again, I'm going to point out another big winner here today. Danny, just coming in right now. I mean, Danny is 19 seconds away from 4th place and 12 seconds away from 6th. He's settled into this position now, driving it to the flag. But, I mean, starting from last, I think 2nd to last, I think Danny, woo, up on the sausage curve there. Woo, having a little bit of fun coming through turn 1. But having the race he's had, starting from 8th place and working his way up to 5th through some also decent racing between Moonstar and I believe Taichi as well. After having that incident in the beginning of the race, you can't argue that for a recovery drive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree. It's been a little, with Danny, it's just been a little bit of luck and a lot of pushing. And he's now sitting just in the top 5. So good on Danny for getting as far as he could.
Of course, we do have to come back. While Jordan has not had the best race today, the display of dominance he's had throughout the season will carry him to the championship. As it stands right now, with Jordan being in 3rd, even if Akash does win this race, Jordan will take the championship, and, you know, you really can't argue with that. You know, one of the things that would have stopped Jordan if something happened in the beginning of this race, but thankfully, Jordan managed to keep it in there, and overall, with this being the final round, if everyone crosses the line here, as we got 2 minutes coming to the end of this race, Jordan will be the winner of the Simufur iRacing LMP2 Championship. We shall see coming into the last couple of minutes here, but that's where it stands right now. Akash coming up to lap traffic here. I believe this is going to be the white flag for the race. Let's take a look. Yes, yeah, that is Barney with the white flag coming up to Blade Wolf. And here we are, the final lap here. It has been an amazing journey with you all. It's been one heck of a season with such close races. Even with, you know, just about the roster we've had, these drivers have put everything out there, and it has made for some spectacular racing and a great season. I mean, what do you say, guys? How has this season been?
Oh, I've loved it. It's been an absolute ball to commentate, to see. There have been amazing races, both in the lead and in the mid pack. Like everywhere we looked, there was a fight. Red Bull Ring was the perfect example of that. We couldn't stop finding fights. It was everywhere.
I mean, we had a screaming match for, I think it was P4 at the end of that race.
Yeah. How are your lungs, by the way?
It's they're a little bit bigger now after that race. I'll tell you that much.
I gotta share as well. I'm very happy to have an opportunity as a full-time commentator, but I just can't wait to get back racing. Next week, you'll definitely see the Simufur ACC GT3 Silver Championships. New update, 1.9 cars 2023, the Ferrari 296, Lambo Evo 2, and Porsche.
And as we come around the last corner, it has been an absolute pleasure, everybody. And Akash takes the final race of the iRacing LMP2 Simufur Championship to win the last race here this season as Dex crosses the line for 2nd, and Jordan, your championship winner for the Simufur iRacing LMP2 Championship. A dominant performance all the way to the end. These drivers put everything on the line, and Jordan has come out on top as your overall championship winner. And as we follow, Lunar here is coming into the final corners here. Again, concluding this race today, the final round here at Hockenheimring. We could not have asked for anything else. Great battles, great stuff all the way to the end. Lunar takes 4th, and Danny still coming around that line. He's going to be in 5th place, coming around, of course, turn 12. And, I mean, just amazing season. All of these drivers have put their absolute best, and, I mean, it has been an absolute wonder to commentate here for all of you guys today and for all of the season. We hope all of you have enjoyed what we've had here. I know I have. How about you guys? I know you guys must have too.
Oh, I've had a ball. It's fun commentating. You know, racing is fun, but sitting here and just watching these races has also been an absolute joy as we see a Cash giving those well-deserved donuts after a hard-fought victory.
After a hard-fought victory here, indeed, is I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and put out for the final time here your results here. Wow, what a race. And we're going to go back. Jordan was also doing donuts as the championship winner, but Akash, the winner here for your last race, week 6 at Hockenheimring, followed by Dex in second place. Then our championship winner, Jordan Johnson. Then Lunar in fourth with an impressive drive to stay up there in the top 5, and rounding out your top 5, Danny with an impressive recovery drive from 8th place. Moonstar in 6th place, consistent as always, and Taichi managing to make this race and come in a respectable 7th place. And then Blade Wolf, even with the mistakes, coming through to make 8th and here today. And of course, Zim rounding out our field here in 9th, and also another decent drive, very consistent as well, and it's always nice having them all here. But the story, of course, you see Jordan Johnson, your championship winner here, as he does more exciting donuts down the start-finish straight as we conclude today's race here. An amazing stuff and an amazing end to an amazing season. Again, It has been an absolute pleasure and wonder to commentate this season for you all. I hope you guys all enjoyed it here. And I have been with Wolfin Foxdale and Suzuka Shark. You guys, we got to do it. What is your driver of the day today?
Oh, man, that's going to be tough. I'm going to have to go with a Cash on this one because he put on an absolute show, and especially in the beginning. Started off second, took every advantage that was given to him, and was able to come out right on top.
How about you, Suzuka? What's your driver of the day?
I want to let you go first, probably, because I have something to advertise near the end.
all right.
It had to be done.
I have to say, for myself, granted the mistake, but barring that, I mean, Dex put on an absolute display. It is rare that you see a nice clean pass on Jordan Johnson, and the fighting, even though Dex was the pole sitter, which is impressive in and of itself, Dex manages to keep composure and recover it even after the mistake to take second place. An amazing drive from him today.
Now, for me, I would pick Danny just for that awesome recovery drive from the back. After that spin, he did not give up and managed to finish P5. And now, before we end, I would like to say the racing may be over for iRacing LMP2, but it is still going on for ACC GT3 in the silver class. Next week, we do have the Simufur Silver Class Championship with right after the 1.9 update, where you will see 3 new cars: the Ferrari 296 GT3, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2, and the Porsche, I think it's the 992, but 992. It's a new update, it's a new era for ACC, a new year for Simufur in ACC.
And let's not forget, this is the first ever silver championship. This is going to be the first time we're going to have a all silver class championship, and I'm very excited to see that.
Absolutely.
I mean, if AMS can put on a clinic, let's see how the silvers do.
Yeah, and we're looking to...
You will definitely see me racing here. Probably Blade Wolf, as he is also in the silver class. Maybe Lunar, and probably even Paliku'i himself.
Who knows? And I know we will be here to give you the action at Simufur. If any of you guys out there are interested, join us on the Discord, discord.gg/Simufur, as you can see near the bottom of your screen there. And of course, after we end the broadcast, and of course, it's gonna be a fun time. I'm also hoping to look to bring you to the action at the Simufur Silver Championship, but we shall see. Anyway, that has been the Simufur iRacing LMP2 Championship. We hope you enjoyed being with us for every step of the action during this season. I am Paliku'i Grant with Wolfin Foxdale and Suzuka Shark signing off for the last time here for Simufur iRacing. We hope to see you guys again someday, and remember everybody, stay fast and stay on track. We'll see you all next time.